Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for this is actually a bonus reading, and we're going to be looking at where you will be in 1 year. So 1 year from now, and that's what we're going to focus on. And what I will say is that in this first section, we are going to focus kind of on the next 6 months. So we'll just be looking at the next 6 months in this part of the reading. And in the next part of the reading, where we clarify, we're going to focus on a little bit farther out, and we're going to look at the year. So I'm using the Golden Tarot. This is the Cat Black version, if you're wondering what deck this is as well. But let's see here, Pisces. So over the next 6 months to a year, you have this first house card. It says arrival on it. Makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, you had Jupiter pretty much in Pisces in 2022, except for the end of 2022. But, for the most part, Jupiter is in Pisces. Actually is currently going to be retrograding back into Pisces at the time of me shooting this video. It won't be in Pisces, but it's on its way back to Pisces. Then it's going to move forward into Aries. This is important for you over the next year because it's going to be in your second house. And I don't care if you're not a second house, Aries, Pisces. It doesn't really matter to me. When Jupiter enters into Aries, it's basically Pisces' second house. And what I would say here is that that's when we kind of get to harvest all the rewards from having Jupiter in our first house. So, as I said, even if it's not your first house, doesn't really matter to me. I know plenty of Pisces where it's like their 10th house or, where they're the 10th house Pisces. Just depends on when you're born. But this first house energy, I feel, is talking about that. And look at how abundant this looks. It's like a deer, very tapped in. You also have Neptune still in your first house as well. Very intuitive over the next year, I would say. You have the Seven of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. So a lot of abundance coming in for you over, I would say over the next 6 months, because again, this first part of the reading, we're really going to focus in on where you will be 6 months from now. So you have the Nine of Pentacles. You also have the Star here, Queen of Pentacles, very resourceful. I also see you becoming more and more passionate as we move through the next 6 months. You have the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands with the Ace of Wands. You also have the Page of Wands over here. It's kind of interesting. I don't want to jump too far ahead here, Pisces, but what I will say is to have like Page of Wands and then to go to the Knight of Wands, Ace of Wands with the Star at the end over here. It really says to me that something that you're thinking about probably right now at the time of me shooting this video. Today is August 12th at the time of me shooting this video. And so probably starting now, I feel like the things that you're thinking about doing with your life right now, whether that's moving, traveling, going on adventure, a lot of adventure showing up here, starting a project, I think that the energy is going to be picking up significantly over the next 6 months. You're going to become more and more passionate about your ideas, about your plans for your life. And again, I don't want to be too kind of broad here, but you have the World as the card in the center. The center card is the most important card in a 9-card spread. And having the World there is amazing. It really says that you're kind of focused on everything in your life. So I definitely like to see that. You also have this Page of Wands. So I really see this Page of Wands as you being very enthusiastic and passionate about something that is clearly going to lead to a lot of abundance. I love this Page of Wands because he has these rabbits right here. And the rabbits in the tarot kind of represent fertility and abundance. He's also walking away from a person in the Golden Tarot. You can see there's this person right here. And it's kind of hard to see, but that is standing out to me in your reading. I feel for some of you, you could be just stepping off on your own path is what this is saying. It's like you've learned enough from the things that you've been through, maybe just life or maybe from a person, and now you're starting a new journey. You have the Seven of Cups as well, so a lot of ideas at this time. I do feel swirling thoughts, especially at the time that you are watching this video. It could be August, September. It doesn't matter if you're watching this in the future as well. This is a timeless reading. But I would say that at the time of you watching this video, I do feel that there could be like a lot of thoughts, a lot of things kind of swirling around your head with that Seven of Cups. Next, in your next row, you have this new moon in Virgo. It says a time to give rather than take. Again, I've said it to you a million times, Pisces. I would say that anything you do, I would have, especially for those of you that want to create abundance, I would have your thoughts on increase just in general. One of my favorite books of all time, Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Amazing book. And he even says in that book, that when you're doing things for other people, like creating a product or starting a business, your thoughts should be like, how can I create as much abundance for those people? He calls it increase. He just says everything you do, you should do with the thoughts of increase, meaning that you're increasing the life of the other people, increasing their abundance, their happiness, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. And again, I feel that that is the secret sauce for you. I said this to you in one of your August readings as well. I can't remember which one, but it does seem to me that that is kind of the secret sauce for you for creating abundance in your life, is to make sure that you're doing it with like the thoughts of increase. And we kind of see that here. And I don't think this has to do with give and take. I think it just has to do with the thoughts. I think Pisces gives enough as it is. You're a Pisces, so you probably give way too much. But again, there's a difference between making sure that you're doing things that increase the lives of those that you're helping or creating business for, or whatever or being in love with, or whatever the case may be, right? But doing that feels just going to lead to a lot of abundance. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the World, and the Page of Cups. I kind of feel that you are surprising yourself with your Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is your resourcefulness. It is how resourceful you are. And I feel this is a surprise to you. You can see how, this is one of my favorite Queen of Pentacles. She has like this side-eye kind of look on her face, right? She's kind of side-eyeing there. She has a skeptical look on her face. But I get this like very surprised energy from you, where I feel that over the next 6 months, you could be discovering some things like about yourself, or about life in general, or whatever, take it how it resonates. And I feel like you're surprising yourself with like how resourceful you actually are, and kind of like the things that you're able to create, the places you're able to get money from. Like all these things are popping into my head, and there definitely is a focus on money here for sure. Again, Jupiter in your second house, I would say it's impossible pretty much for you to not be focusing on money with Jupiter in your second house. But again, it's a good thing, because Jupiter is your values, and you're basically going to be attracting, your values, things that you value into your life. You have the World. So again, over the next 6 months, I feel there's a major accomplishment coming in for you just in the next 6 months, not even the next year. We haven't even gotten there yet. And I feel there's a major accomplishment coming in for you, something that feels really good as well. I feel like it feels good because your last row is so inspiring. It's crazy. You have the Star, card of inspiration. You have the Page of Wands here, another card of feeling inspired to do something. Knight of Wands, inspiration, and Ace of Wands, inspiration. So I feel that you're accomplishing something. But it's like I do feel you are accomplishing it on your own, Pisces, not that you should be, because like I said, I would be doing things kind of with like the thought of, how can I use this to my best advantage? How can I use this to, create increase for other people, right? Or how can I use what I'm doing to help other people, or, how can we help each other even? This isn't like one of those things where you're putting energy in and you're not getting energy back. Again, that is not healthy give and take, right? There needs to be give and take, not just give. Even though that Virgo card does say a time to give rather than take. Again, you're a Pisces. You probably give too much anyway. You have the Page of Cups here. I feel that this is your imagination. I would say that your focus really isn't on love. That does not mean love is not available to you, but I just feel like your focus is kind of on your imagination and things that you want to create. You're entering into a very creative time. Again, we see this in the astrology in general, so it just doesn't really surprise me that you could be entering into a creative time, or a time where you're focused more on manifesting or bringing, creating things that you have been imagining for a very long period of time. The Knight of Wands, again, in your last row here, Knight of Wands is a card to me that represents like the builder. He really starts building something, whether it's a project, a business, a relationship, whatever he wants to build, it doesn't matter. So I feel you are very focused on the kind of building part of something over the next 6 months. And I feel like it's just going to be really good for you. At the end here, you have this TikTok card. Again, I feel this is talking about just time. I feel some of you could feel the pressure of time in general. Some of you will have Saturn entering into your first house as well. Some of you might already have Saturn in your first house like I do, right? So I feel you could be feeling a lot of pressures of like time, feeling like you're under some sort of deadline that maybe doesn't exist. Just something to look out for. Again, don't put too much pressure on yourself, is what I feel this is saying. You have the Star, the Knight of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. I mean, super inspiring. Like I said, I feel you're feeling very inspired to do things. The Star, she is normally pouring water into the pool of universal consciousness, and the water that she's pouring in there she's also pouring onto the land. and it kind of represents what's possible for one person is possible for everyone. So she's putting water out onto the world, which you have right here in the reading, which I feel is going to be very important for you in both ways, meaning that, again, you're probably inspiring other people, that's give and take, right? You're giving people something by inspiring them to take action in their own lives, number one. Number two, I also feel like you could be seeing things in the world that inspire you to take action, or you could just be taking your ideas and your cues from the world. For whatever reason, that's popping into my head, and I feel that could be very, very important for you. I would be more innovative and spontaneous with this Knight of Wands energy. Knight of Wands, I feel you're, again, building something. That's definitely the word that's popping into my head. Whatever you're building, it's something long-term, probably something that's going to be successful, and probably something that will also inspire people, like I said. But with the Knight of Wands, I feel you could be taking cues from the world and, kind of using them to your own advantage or mixing them up. Like, I'm starting a podcast, right, personally, and I'm going to be putting the videos on YouTube, but it's like the way that I'm going to be doing it is a little different than most of the other podcasts that do it. Hopefully it works. I don't know. You'll find out in the future, right? We'll see how true this reading is, right, by testing it on myself. But it's like I'm taking some ideas that people don't normally use and kind of mixing them together, mixing the two worlds, right? And I kind of see you doing that in general here, Pisces, where I feel like you could be kind of seeing things that work maybe in other industries, like especially in your career or your job. You might see things that work for other people in a different business. I feel this reading is saying you can take some of those ideas and make them relevant to what you do, and I feel doing that, mixing things together, kind of temperance energy, right? Mixing two things together. I feel that could be extremely not profitable for you just in general. And again, finally, you have the Ace of Wands, so definitely feeling very inspired at this time and also extremely creative. I feel you are creating a lot right here, Pisces. It's almost like sometimes I feel in life we just get on a kick, right, where we discover something that works in business or work specifically, and then we just don't stop doing it. And that's kind of the vibes that this is giving me, especially in work or business. I feel that for a lot of you, or if you're just creating something, again, you could be retired and you could be focused on like creating or, wanting to work on hobbies and things like that. But again, I feel like you're discovering something that really kind of captures your attention, especially with that star card as well. But now we're going to look into the next year by clarifying through this. So in your first row with that Seven of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands. Again, I don't actually feel this Ten of Wands is a bad thing. I definitely feel a lot of work coming in for you, but it doesn't even want to focus. But he is about to reach this home in the back here, so I feel there's a lot of success coming in for you over the next year. It's like there's a lot of success, and I do feel like you're going to be putting some burdens down, but I do also feel a lot of work. But, again, is this a bad thing? I would say no. I don't consider the Ten of Wands to be a bad thing. He's about to reach his home. He grew those wands. He's about to have a harvest. How is a harvest a bad thing? He might be burdened. He probably did a lot of work, and he's having to shoulder the burdens, but again, he's about to have the rewards. I do feel if you have a business, maybe it's a good time to delegate, get some people to help you, of course, in your life. I do feel this reading in general, you have a lot of social energy here. Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, I consider cards of socializing. So I feel there are people that would help you carry some heavy burdens, and that might be something worth looking into. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Wands. Love it. Quick success coming in for you. Again, I feel you're really surprising yourself with how you're able to kind of pull resources almost out of thin air. I don't think that's accurate because, again, clearly you've worked for the resources that you're pulling out of thin air over the next year. So, again, that's not entirely true. I feel like you've worked for this energy. I also feel with the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands coming up together that this is your focus. The Nine of Pentacles represents your focus. The Eight of Wands represents the focus of your energy. So I'd make sure you're focusing on the things that you do want, obviously not the things you don't want. With the Page of Wands, you have the Seven of Pentacles. See, I mean, this is part of the reason I feel you're leaving something behind. You really need to trust your intuition is what I'm getting here. I kind of get this story popping into my head. It really has nothing to do with the cards, but again, I read intuitively. I trust my intuition. I feel for some of you, you're working on something right now, and maybe you see it as dying, and I don't mean this literally, but I mean like the death card, like something needs to undergo a transformation. So I feel like the change that you're making here is to allow a transformation. Remember, I kind of said this with the Temperance card as well. I don't necessarily see you all just up and quitting a business that you have or job, but it's going to transform in some way. And the part about trusting your intuition, I feel that some of you kind of see this coming, but it's almost as if I feel the energy of hesitating. Like, do I make the change? Do I not make the change? I see a lot of questions. This reading to me is coming up as this is confirmation to make the change. So if you see something coming, make the change now. Don't wait. I feel you will be glad that you did. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords says get out of your head. I do feel there are times where you worry about finances just in general, and I feel like this is saying no. You are very much able to create money out of thin air. So I would let go of your fears with this Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords also represents temporary energy. I feel if you're watching this video right now and you're having to be resourceful right now because of whatever is going on in your life, I feel that Nine of Swords is saying a year from now, you won't even be worried about any of this stuff. So just keep that in mind as well. With the World card, you have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups, I do feel like something could be missing in a year from now, but it could be love is what I would say by next August. If you don't have love, if you have love, it's obviously not going to be missing. But if you don't have love, then I feel this is kind of saying that could be something that you feel is missing from your life, is just someone to share your life with. I feel a major focus for you over the next year, Pisces, could be you really thinking about how do I balance the two things out, like love and work, or how do I balance just other relationships. Doesn't even have to be love relationships, it could be all types of relationships. I feel like you're thinking, how do I balance these things out? How do I kind of have enough time for all of that? And that seems to be a focus for you. With the Page of Cups, you have the Three of Swords. Again, could be a breakup. Some of you maybe have gone through a breakup. I almost feel like you're thinking about something from the past, if I'm being honest with you here, Pisces. Just, because the way I think about that Queen of Pentacles, it's like, how do I get the things I need to have something? Those are the words that are popping into my head. Page of Cups, Three of Swords. I would definitely watch your health here as well. With this Three of Swords, I would just stay healthy in general if I were you, Pisces. Again, not a doctor, but I don't really think next year is a bad year. I would just make sure you're watching your energy, plain and simple. I would also, just like this year, 2022, but I mean, this is only the next year, so until next August, there'll still be more left after that. But what I would say is, I would make sure you're not getting sucked down by anything emotional. Like if something has emotional control over you, like a negative relationship, this could be a negative relationship to a job, a business, a career, then I would look into that and try to change it or leave, right? I feel it could be affecting your health. With the Star card, you have the Eight of Swords. I really feel you need to believe in yourself. That could be like one thing that you could work on. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. It's saying, really, the Star says there are no limits to your life. You can accomplish more than you ever thought possible. But the Eight of Swords is the kind of mental limits that we put on ourselves. It's the looking at our life and saying there's only one way of doing things. The Eight of Swords is my card of only seeing one way to do things when there are millions of ways to do pretty much everything. And again, as I always say, this is a reading about where you will be in 1 year, but you're watching it now, right? So you can change this now, right now, Pisces. That's the whole point of tarot. It doesn't control your life. You can change what's coming up here. Eight of Swords says set yourself free. Open up to abundance. Open up to all the different ways of doing things. You never know what you might discover. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Seven of Wands. I would definitely be careful of in and out people in your life. For some of you, feel like you've had an in-and-out person in your life for a while, so it might be a good idea for you to get rid of this person, is what I would say to you. For others, I feel this is talking about more playfulness, for sure. He has these polka dots on his cloak. I actually don't consider the Seven of Swords to be a bad card. All the golden cards in tarot are meant to be positive, so I don't care what anyone says about the Seven of Swords. It's not meant to be a bad card. He's also doing things differently. He is stealing those swords from an army in the background, so he's not going to war with the army. He's just stealing their swords. So it's kind of like he's going to war in a different way. And I definitely feel that for you here, that, there could be other ways of doing things you're doing. But I would also say that polka dots in the tarot represent needing more fun, more playfulness. Looks like it's going to be super busy next, 12 months for you, basically. So I would make sure that you're also taking time to socialize. Make sure that you're taking time to kind of recharge your batteries, all that other good stuff as well. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Eight of Cups. So I do feel like you're kind of walking away from things that no longer serve you. We do have this like eclipse for you, Pisces, and coming up at we're gonna have more eclipses, of course, over the next year. But again, I do feel, for whatever reason, it's popping into my head that eclipses, or kind of like those in between times, are going to be very important for you with the Eight of Cups. I also feel you could just be kind of walking away from things that no longer serve you in general. I forgot. I also want to pull some I'm going to pull 5 random major themes over the next year for you. And we're just going to see what these major themes are going to be. And again, I'm just pulling them at random here, basically. So you have this bird flying. It says, news is on the way. So I do feel news that you've been waiting for is kind of coming in. I really just see this as bricks falling into place is really the intuition that I'm getting for you here, Pisces. It's like I do feel there are certain things that you've been maybe waiting for to happen in your life, or certain situations or things that needed to happen so that you could move forward with your life. And I kind of see that happening. That's like the type of news. You also have this teardrops card. It says great personal sorrow. I would be careful of your emotions for sure. We kind of already touched on this. I do feel just like 2022, like I said, that for like the next year or so, that, you know, I don't want to scare you because I don't think tarot controls your life, like I said. But what I would say is I would definitely watch your emotions and make sure you're just trying to trend your emotions towards the positive. If there are things going on in the world, things in the news, on TV, whatever, that affect your emotions, I would definitely try to be very careful of those things. Again, I do see a danger just in the astrology in general of Pisces kind of getting sucked down into those emotional whirlpools. Right here, 8 of Cups, getting sucked down into emotional whirlpool on the negative side of things. So I would be careful of that. Next, you have the moon. It's funny that I said the eclipses because it says changes in your life. The thing about the eclipses with that card is I feel like every eclipse that we have, I don't know, I haven't even checked, but I don't know how many we have between now and next August, but whatever it is, right? However many there are, doesn't matter. I feel like there's like noticeable changes pretty much like on the eclipses. So, you know, there you go. You also have this goldfish. It says increase in material wealth and spiritual growth. Clearly, there is a major increase in your finances, I feel, or at least the opportunity for you to greatly increase your finances here. So I would definitely be resourceful, and I would also look into like the talents, gifts, skills, and abilities you have. I feel for some of you, it's like there could be some random things, you know, random opportunities that come up, and I would take advantage of those things if I were you. You have that 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is considered a bad card, but what I will tell you, Pisces, is that 9 of Swords can be a good card. It can represent temporary opportunities. It's kind of like the way I look at it is it's a card of like part-time work, temporary work, holiday work, things like that. But in all areas of your life, but mostly financial is what I'm feeling for you, is that there could be some random opportunities for you to do things like extra work on the side for a person, or, you know, who knows, if you have your own business, maybe someone wants to contract you to do something else. It's like I would be taking advantage of those opportunities over the next year. I just think it'll be super beneficial. And again, finally, you have the love card. So love is a focus. It's interesting that I kind of don't feel this as a love reading, but what I would say is it's like what I feel the love card is saying is that you need to balance love out. Clearly, I feel things are too maybe logical here. 9 of Swords, 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords. It's like the next 6 months look great. I wouldn't say the next year, by next year where you're going to be at is bad. I think it's too logical. I think it needs to come, down to the heart more. Sometimes I think when we do become more successful, we definitely can become more logical. And I would just say that maybe some love needs to be injected into all the things that you do. But a pretty good reading, Pisces. I like where this is going. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your year.